more effort you put into gaining someone's attention, the more they seem to drift away. No matter how many texts you send, calls you make, or favors you offer, it feels like you're pushing them further instead of pulling them closer. I understand. It's frustrating. But here's something that no one wants to tell you. The key to attraction isn't about doing more. It's about doing less. In fact, it's about doing the exact opposite of what you've been doing all along. The more you pull back, the more attractive you become. What we're going to dive into today is going to blow your mind. We'll explore why people are naturally more drawn to you when you stop trying so hard to be noticed. Stick with me until the end, because I'll break down the 9 psychological triggers through the lens of Stoicism that can make you magnetic by simply pulling away. By the time you finish this video, your entire perspective on relationships, attraction, and even how you see yourself will be completely transformed. Trust me, this is going to be real. We live in a world where everyone is constantly connected, yet we're lonelier than ever. How many times have you seen someone obsess over getting a text back? How often have you witnessed people compromising their self-worth just to be noticed, to feel validated for even a moment? This is where most of us are making a major mistake. Here's the cold, hard truth. We've been taught to believe that the more we give, the more we chase, the more available we are, the more we'll be appreciated. But the reality is the exact opposite. Today we're going to discuss the power of distance and how stepping back isn't a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. It's a sign of value. When you stop needing others to fill your emotional gaps, you start attracting them. Today, I'll cover 9 practical, actionable steps that will make you more desirable by doing less. Whether you want to improve an existing relationship, attract new ones, or simply regain your self-worth, these tips are for you. Now, let's dive in. 1. How detachment cultivates unshakable confidence. The truth about confidence is that real confidence doesn't stem from others telling you how amazing you are. It doesn't come from how many likes your Instagram posts get or how often people compliment you. True confidence comes from within, and more specifically, it comes from being detached from the outcome. When you can genuinely say, "I'm fine whether this person likes me or not," or "I don't need this situation to turn out a certain way to feel good about myself," that's when you begin to tap into real, unshakable confidence. Think about the most confident people you know. They aren't the ones constantly seeking approval or chasing validation. They're the ones who seem completely at ease with themselves, no matter what's going on around them. That's because they've mastered the art of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care about people or situations. It means you're not emotionally dependent on the outcome. Whether things go your way or not, you're still confident in who you are. When you detach, you shift the power dynamic in any relationship. You stop seeking approval, and as a result, the other person naturally begins to seek it from you. It's a subtle yet powerful psychological shift. The best part? This kind of confidence isn't fragile. It doesn't crumble when things don't go your way because it's rooted in your own self-worth, not in external validation. Start practicing detachment in small ways. For example, if you text someone and they don't reply right away, instead of feeling anxious or overthinking their silence, remind yourself that their response, or lack of it, doesn't define your worth. The more you practice this, the stronger your confidence will grow, and the more attractive you'll become to others. 2. Why we want. What we can't have scarcity is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology, and it's why limited edition products, exclusive memberships, and high-demand events are so appealing. When something is rare, our minds automatically assign it more value. Think about the last time you tried to buy something that was out of stock or available in limited quantities. Didn't it become far more desirable, even if you didn't really need it that badly at first? Now, let's apply this concept to human relationships. If you're always available, always replying instantly, always saying yes, always ready to hang out at a moment's notice, you're watering down your value. People begin to expect that they can get your attention whenever they want, and as a result, they start taking it for granted. It's not that they don't care about you, it's just human nature. When something is constantly accessible, people don't cherish it the same way they would if it were scarce. This is where scarcity becomes your secret weapon in relationships. By deliberately creating space, by not always being available, you instantly increase your value in the eyes of others. You become the limited edition person. People will start to crave your attention because they can't get it on demand. Suddenly, they're the ones wondering when they'll see you again, when you'll text back, or when you'll be available. This shift creates desire because what is scarce is always sought after. But let's be clear, this isn't about playing games or manipulating others. It's about understanding a fundamental psychological truth. People value what they have to work for. When you make your time and attention less accessible, people have to earn it, and that's when they start to appreciate it more. Next time you feel pressured to always be there, resist the urge. Don't be afraid to say no, reschedule, or simply not respond right away. Let people realize that your time is valuable. When you become less accessible, not only do you gain more control, but you also give others the opportunity to chase you. Trust me, when people start chasing you, their perception of your value will skyrocket. Here's a practical challenge. Try delaying your responses to texts or requests. When someone asks to hang out, instead of immediately jumping at the chance, say you need to check your schedule. Watch how people's attitude toward you shifts when they realize that your time is a privilege, not a guarantee. 3. Why emotional distance makes you instantly more attractive. Let's talk about neediness. It's a term that gets tossed around frequently, but most people don't truly grasp how damaging it can be in relationships. Neediness is one of the quickest ways to kill attraction. Why? Because it signals to the other person that you rely on them for your emotional well-being, that you need them to fill a gap in your life. And when someone picks up on the fact that you need them too much, it's not flattering, it's suffocating. People are naturally repelled by those who cling too tightly. Think about it. Have you ever felt attracted to someone who constantly texts you, seeks validation, and seems to have no life of their own? Probably not. On the other hand, emotional distance is incredibly alluring. When you're not constantly clinging, not always chasing attention or validation, you create space for the other person to come towards you. They feel like they have to put in a little more effort to earn your attention, which makes you seem more valuable in their eyes. It's not that you don't care, it's that you're not reliant on them for your happiness. That's the key difference. In today's world, where texting, social media, and constant communication are the norm, creating emotional distance is incredibly powerful. It's about giving the other person room to breathe, and more importantly, giving yourself the space to maintain your own sense of self. You become more desirable when you're not always easily accessible. This doesn't mean playing games or manipulating someone. It's about valuing your independence and allowing them to value it too. Next time you feel the urge to constantly reach out to someone or reply to every message the second it pops up on your phone, stop. Take a moment to breathe, let some time pass, and let them miss you. This isn't about manipulation. It's about preserving your own emotional space and establishing healthy distance. When you do this, you'll notice that people naturally begin to pursue you because scarcity always increases value. The silent power of self-sufficiency. In today's fast-paced, hyper-connected world, The ability to be self-sufficient is becoming rarer and more valuable by the day. The truth is, most people are looking for someone to fill their emotional gaps, someone to lean on, or even someone to make them feel validated. But here's the twist. When you don't rely on anyone to fulfill those needs, when you're happy, fulfilled and stable on your own, that's when people start to be drawn to you. Why? Because self-sufficiency signals strength. It shows the world that you're capable of taking care of yourself, both emotionally and physically, and that you're not dependent on others for your happiness. This level of independence is incredibly attractive because it's so rare. Think about it. How often do you meet someone who isn't constantly seeking reassurance, who doesn't need attention, who doesn't rely on someone else to feel complete? Not very often, right? That's why self-sufficient people stand out. They're different, and that difference makes them magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who are whole on their own because it takes the pressure off. When you're self-sufficient, you're not looking to others to make you feel good or validate your worth, and that makes relationships healthier and less stressful. The people around you don't feel like they have to constantly cater to your emotional needs, which creates space for more balanced, fulfilling connections. Self-sufficiency is also closely tied to confidence. When you're comfortable being alone, when you're focused on your own passions, hobbies and goals, you radiate a kind of unshakable inner strength that others can't help but notice. You're not afraid of solitude, and that lack of fear makes you incredibly desirable. People will want to be part of your life not because you need them, but because you've built a life so full and vibrant that they want to be a part of it. Focus on building your own life. Spend time cultivating your passions, whether it's learning a new skill, working out, pursuing a career goal, or simply developing a hobby that makes you feel fulfilled. The more time you invest in yourself, the more attractive you become to others. Why? Because self-sufficiency is the ultimate form of self-respect. When you respect yourself enough to thrive without others, you'll attract people who respect you too. Challenge yourself to spend more time alone, not in isolation, but in productive solitude. Time spent improving yourself will pay off. The more you invest in your own growth, the less you'll feel the need to chase others, and the more they'll naturally be drawn to you. 5. Why timing in communication creates desire. In today's digital age, where everything moves at lightning speed with instant messages, real-time updates, and the pressure to respond quickly, patience has become a lost art. But mastering patience, especially in communication, can make you incredibly desirable. Why? Because waiting builds anticipation, and anticipation is the foundation of desire. Think about it. When someone doesn't immediately reply to your text or isn't rushing to make plans with you, what happens? You start thinking about them more, wondering what they're doing, why they haven't responded yet, and when they will. That curiosity creates emotional tension, and tension leads to attraction. On the other hand, if someone is always available, always replying right away, there's no build-up, no sense of mystery. And without mystery, there's no excitement. This is where patience becomes your secret weapon. When you're not rushing to reply, when you're not always available at a moment's notice, you give people the chance to think about you. You allow them to experience the absence of your presence, which makes them crave it even more. You're creating a gap that they want to fill, and that desire keeps them coming back. But there's a fine line here. It's not about ignoring people or playing hard to get. It's about being intentional with your responses and your availability. When you master the art of patience, you show that your time is valuable and that you're not someone who's sitting around waiting for attention. You're busy living your life, and that makes people want to be a part of it even more. Start practicing patience in your everyday communication. The next time someone texts you, Resist the urge to reply immediately. Take a breath, wait a few minutes, or even an hour before responding. Let them wonder where you are and what you're doing. This isn't about being rude or distant. It's about showing that you're not in a rush, that you're confident enough to take your time. Challenge yourself to delay your responses and watch how people begin to engage with you differently. By creating a little space between interactions, you're building anticipation, and that anticipation naturally leads to stronger attraction. Here's a specific challenge. The next time you're texting someone, if you usually reply right away, wait 15 to 30 minutes before doing so. If you normally agree to plans without hesitation, tell them you need to check your schedule first. Watch how this small shift in timing can dramatically change the dynamic of your interactions and make you more intriguing. Conclusion. You've just learned that the real power lies in stepping back. For so long, you've believed that the more you give, the more you chase, the more people will appreciate you. But the reality is, attraction doesn't work that way. When you step away, when you stop always being available, you allow people to feel your absence, and that's when they realize your true value. Remember, this isn't about playing games or manipulating anyone. It's about recognizing your own worth and having the confidence to let others come to you. The moment you stop needing people, the moment you stop chasing validation, that's when you become magnetic. Whether it's in love, friendships, or your career, the power of distance is undeniable. When you give yourself space, you give others the chance to see how valuable your presence really is. So, are you ready to let go, step back, and become the kind of person people are naturally drawn to? Now here's where it gets interesting. I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed that when you step back, people start coming to you? Drop a comment below and share a story where you created distance and how it completely shifted the dynamic. Trust me, your stories will inspire others to try the same. And if you found these insights helpful, there are 2 ways you can help this channel grow and keep bringing you more content like this. The first is by subscribing. It's simple, free, and helps us reach more people who need to hear this. The second is by joining our channel membership if you're feeling generous and want to support us on a deeper level. Both options make a huge difference and allow us to keep diving deep into these transformative topics. But here's the key. Take action now, not just by subscribing or joining, but by applying what you've learned today. Watch how your relationships shift, how people start seeing you differently, and how over time you begin to feel more powerful, more confident, and more in control than ever before.